If someone had told me this 50 years ago, I could have saved my heart, my energy, and maybe even my life. Don't make the mistake I did. If you don't understand what I'm about to say, you could spend the next 40 years running towards something that will never satisfy you. And no doctor will warn you about it. No financial advisor. No boss. No motivational speaker. Because this isn't about cholesterol or blood pressure. It's about the silent addiction that steals decades of your life. My name is William. I'm 77 years old. And it took me more than half a century to recognize the trap that shaped almost every decision I made. The trap sounds harmless. I'll be happy when. I said it at 25. I said it at 35. I said it at 55. I'll be happy when I get promoted. I'll be happy when I can finally afford the house. I'll be happy when people respect me. I'll be happy when I retire. It sounds logical, responsible, driven. But here's what nobody explains. Your brain treats "I'll be happy when" like a finish line that keeps moving. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. The human nervous system adjusts quickly to improvements. You get the thing. You feel a spike of satisfaction. Then your baseline resets. The mind whispers, "Now what's next?" You think you're climbing a mountain, but you're actually on a treadmill. I grew up watching my father work brutal factory shifts. His hands were cracked, his back always sore, and still people dismissed him. I decided early I would never be overlooked like that. I would earn respect. I would matter. So I chased status. 60-hour weeks became normal. 70 wasn't unusual. I missed birthdays. I missed games. I missed conversations that can't be replayed. But I told myself it was temporary. I was building something. By my early 50s, I had the office with the view, the title, the polished desk. People stood when I entered the room. And one afternoon, alone in that corner office, I realized something terrifying. I felt empty, not sad, not angry, just hollow. Like I had spent 30 years assembling a trophy only to discover it was made of cardboard. The external world applauded. The internal world felt untouched. Here's the truth most people never confront. Achievement cannot heal insecurity. It can only distract from it. I wasn't chasing money. I was chasing the feeling of being enough. And I believed accomplishment would manufacture that feeling for me. It didn't. Because worthiness is not a reward for performance. It's a decision. But I didn't know that yet. And this is where the story gets uncomfortable. Because what I lost while chasing that illusion is something no promotion can replace. And what happened next will change everything. Success has a strange side effect. It makes you look impressive from a distance, while quietly draining you up close. Around age 48, my marriage nearly collapsed. Not because of betrayal, not because of money problems, not because of crisis, but because of absence. I thought providing was love. I believed a bigger house meant a stronger relationship. I believed financial security meant emotional security. But provision without presence is like watering a plant without sunlight. Something essential is missing. One night my wife said something that cut deeper than any business failure. "I don't need more money. I need you." And I remember feeling confused. Wasn't I doing this for us? Wasn't sacrifice noble? But here's the psychological truth. Humans are wired for connection, not accumulation. Neuroscience shows that emotional bonding regulates stress hormones more effectively than financial stability. Presence lowers cortisol. Eye contact builds safety. Conversation strengthens attachment. A paycheck cannot replace that. I had built comfort, but I had neglected closeness. And the irony? I was chasing success to feel secure. Yet the very chase was creating instability in the one place that truly mattered. Years later, I started noticing something else. My friends in their 70s and 80s fell into two clear groups. The first group was still competing, still comparing, still measuring. At 82 years old, arguing about who has more savings. At 79, still resentful about promotions from 1994. Their bodies aged. Their mindset didn't. And they were exhausted. Then there was another group. Simpler lives. Less obsession. More peace. They laughed easily. They forgave quickly. They didn't need to win conversations. One friend told me, "I stopped trying to be important. I started trying to be present." That sentence stayed with me. Because here's the dangerous illusion. We think freedom is having more. But real freedom is needing less. Not less money. Not less ambition. Less psychological dependency on outcomes. The fear I thought would disappear after success, it didn't. It just changed costumes. Before promotion, what if I fail? After promotion, what if I lose it? Before retirement, what if I never get there? After retirement, what if my savings aren't enough? The circumstances changed. The anxiety remained. That's when I understood something critical. Fear is not solved by improving conditions. Fear is solved by changing your relationship with uncertainty. And this is where the video takes a shocking turn. Because what finally shifted my life wasn't external at all. It was a quiet, uncomfortable realization I had avoided for decades. Most people never hear the next part, and that's the real danger. At 73 years old, I did something I should have done at 23. I stopped asking, "What do I need to achieve?" and started asking, "Why don't I feel enough already?" That question dismantled everything. I realized I had outsourced my self-worth to bosses, to income, to praise, to performance. I was waiting for the world to stamp me approved. But approval is a moving target. And here's the cause and effect most people miss. When your identity depends on achievement, peace becomes conditional. Conditional peace is fragile peace. It shatters with layoffs. It trembles with criticism. It collapses with aging. And aging will come. At 77, I look in the mirror and see wrinkles, slower steps, thinner hair. But for the first time in my life, I feel steady. Because I'm not negotiating with myself anymore. I don't need to prove I matter. I don't need to win invisible competitions. I don't need the finish line. I finally understood something ancient philosophers tried to explain centuries ago, and modern psychology now confirms. Fulfillment is an internal alignment, not an external acquisition. You don't arrive at peace. You practice it daily, in small moments, while washing dishes, while sitting quietly, while listening without interrupting. The journey was never a hallway leading somewhere else. The journey was the room I was already standing in. And here's the part young people don't want to hear. There will always be another goal, another problem, another uncertainty. Life is not a puzzle you solve once. It's a rhythm you learn to move with. If you postpone contentment until everything is perfect, you will postpone it forever. Because perfection is not a destination. It's a mirage. The greatest freedom I've ever felt is this. Nothing has to change for me to be okay. Not the economy. Not my bank account. Not other people's opinions. When you stop chasing worthiness, you start experiencing life. When you stop proving yourself, you start living. And that shift, that internal decision, doesn't require 50 years. It requires honesty. So I'll ask you what I wish someone had asked me decades ago. What are you waiting for? What are you telling yourself must happen before you allow yourself peace? Promotion? Marriage? 6 figures? Retirement? What if the thing you're chasing was never the solution? What if the answer is learning to sit still long enough to realize you were enough all along? I can't give you back lost decades, but maybe I can interrupt yours before they disappear. If this conversation hit something real inside you, share it with someone who is grinding themselves into exhaustion trying to earn their worth. And if you want more honest, powerful conversations about health, mindset, aging, and living with clarity, subscribe to BeFitest. Because sometimes the most important medicine isn't found in a prescription. It's found in perspective. And the next part might completely change how you see your life starting today.